Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for something that will shake the image of the so-called power couple right out of its Instagram filters. They sold us the fairy story for years. The devoted spouse who endured 6 years behind bars. The woman who returned home to reality TV and red carpet's tales. Was it all real, though? Or was it simply the best hip-hop public relations ploy ever? Because Papoose isn't holding back, defending, or smiling today. Everything is coming out of him. And believe me, nobody could have predicted how ugly the truth is. How can a man who fought valiantly to keep his wife's crown shined, and who literally married her over the phone in a jailhouse, declare he's done? After nearly 20 years, what kind of treachery would cause even the most devoted husband to abandon his wife? There have been rumors of noisy gatherings, covert meetings, and late-night studio sessions with no purpose. In relation to music, insiders who wish to remain anonymous asserted that the rumors were fact rather than fiction. Finally, Papoose is placing receipts on the table. Was love ever the driving force behind this marriage? Or until the mask came off, was Papoose the ideal cover? We're pulling down the shiny, so stay tuned. Revealing the anarchy underneath the facade. Let's tear off the bandage immediately, ladies and gentlemen. There was more to the love story between Remy Ma and Papoose than meets the eye. It was loyalty cloaked in a ticking time bomb. Everyone recalls the magazine's flashy headlines, silly ride-or-die interviews and covers. Papoose portrayed himself as the perfect spouse, the man who wed his queen in 2008 over the phone while incarcerated. Who does that? In all honesty, who answers a collect call? It was portrayed at the time as romance, loyalty, and the great love of hip-hop narrative. Years later, however, that same action appears to be more of a man preparing himself for the ultimate betrayal than an act of devotion. Because they didn't just split when the cracks eventually appeared, they erupted. Let's take a moment to go back. Rapper Remy Ma from the Bronx has bars that were sharp enough to break glass. Ended up behind bars following a shooting incident in 2007. 6 years in prison. The majority of guys would have moved on, perhaps even sending a card or keeping the conversation informal. Not Papoose, though. He doubled down. No. He didn't simply remain. He turned it into a news story. On that phone call, he declared to the world that he was the epitome of loyalty and wed her. And he thrived on that reputation for years. When his lady was doing time, the man held her down. He was lauded by hip-hop aficionados. When Remy Ma walked out of prison in 2014, she became the face of second chances, and women began tweeting about their relationship ambitions. To be brutally honest, though, loyalty only works when both people are truly loyal to each other. This so-called fairy tale becomes corrupt at that point. Because even though while Papoose was occupied with portraying the ideal husband, there were suspicions that Remy wasn't quite following the same pattern. Late-night recording sessions, dubious text conversations, and rumors from unnamed sources that she was connected to Easy the Block Captain, a combat rapper. Fans initially dismissed it. No way, they said. Remy wouldn't treat Papoose that way. However, the smoke continued to thicken. We all know that in hip-hop, there's generally a fire where there's smoke. And it was flaming in this instance. Now, this is where it becomes quite disorganized. Stories began to surface from a number of insiders. Yes, we're talking about friends of friends, managers who unintentionally overheard, and even a purported Uber driver who dropped Remy off at an unidentified location. "I saw her, bro," said one. The gathering was not about business. She entered grinning as if it were a romantic evening. Papoose allegedly received a direct message from another insider that said, "You held her down, but she ain't holding you back. Keep an eye on your back, king." Furthermore, the disclosures began to appear far too consistent to be mere rumors. The locations, names, and late hours are all the same. What did Papoose do then? Did he speak to her in private? Did he remain silent, as he always claimed to be an old-school player? Not at all. The man lost his temper. In private, insiders claim that like some hip-hop Sherlock Holmes, Papoose went into full investigation mode, checking phones, making calls, and even confronting people in studios. And he knew, one producer, who wished to remain nameless, said. It was evident in his face. He was aware that the loyalty was no longer reciprocal. Not to mention the public cracks it first appeared on Hip Hop in Love. Tension was observed by viewers. Papoose appeared exhausted. Remy appeared defensive. Fans then started tweeting things like "Pap deserves better," or "Why is she looking at him like that?" Social media doesn't overlook anything. The picture of the ideal pair was fast falling apart in real time. However, the treachery was not only pecuniary in nature. Industry insiders have rumored that Papoose has been using his personal resources and connections to support Ray's career. When she got out of jail, he made sure she had a comeback song and producers' shows ready. All the way up that enormous hit. Yes, according to insiders, Pap's hustle behind the scenes was far more involved than most people realize. But the more he gave, the less respect he received in return. A few claim he even penned verses in a ghost. Ghost wrote, indeed. Claims erupted in one Reddit thread. While she was jailed, Pap penned 90% of her bars. He constructed her return. and she paid him back in this way. The story was obvious whether that was accurate or not. Papoose felt taken advantage of. The loyalty mask was totally falling off by 2024. Whispers turned into news stories. Photos purportedly showing Remy with ease began to circulate. One fan even said she saw them cuddling up together in a VIP area of a club. Twitter blew out. Memes showing Remy laughing and Papoose looking dejected went viral. All of a sudden, the man who had previously been commended for his loyalty was now the most popular target on the internet. The man who waited 6 years only to be betrayed. Yes, it is cruel, but heartbreak has never been tolerated on social media. Then the tipping point arrived. May 2025. Papoose filed for divorce, and he didn't do it softly. Following months of denial, silent conflict, and enough rumors to fill 10 seasons of reality TV. Oh no, the document had intractable disagreements and subtle, yet glaring references to adultery. In other words, he essentially informed the judges, "I kept my vows. She didn't." And the gloves were removed as soon as that hit the news. As if they were sharks, bloggers, YouTubers, and gossip sites immediately jumped on the tail. He wasn't protecting her for the first time. He didn't say anything. And in hip-hop, quiet typically denotes one thing. Bombs are about to be dropped. Fans were incredulous. How does the man who centered his entire persona on family, marriage, and loyalty ultimately leave? Sources claim that the solution was straightforward. He had had enough of humiliation. Pap said, "If I can hold her down in prison and she still can't hold me down outside, then what's the point?" A purported close friend stated. He has had enough of being faithful to someone who isn't loyal to him in return. He learned things you wouldn't believe, someone else said. While he was in the studio organizing her life, she had a completely different one, as evidenced by texts, locations, and even persons. The most well-known love story in hip-hop suddenly entered its most repulsive phase. The story of fidelity had died. The fairy tale was on fire. And Papoose was no longer the victim. He was prepared to reveal every dark truth that the world believed to be kept hidden, since he was the whistleblower. Already, the rumors were unpleasant. However, everything spilled out into the streets in part 2 of this turmoil, both online and literally, because the leaks came like an avalanche once Papoose secretly filed the divorce papers. Audio snippets, screenshots, and close friends abruptly becoming whistleblowers. Oh, the audience devoured it like the newest Netflix series on true crime. The DM leak of the year, as fans called it, was the first. On a gossip blog, screenshots purportedly taken from Remy Ma's Instagram appeared. The purported account said in one message, "Studio ran late again. Don't stay up late." The second individual, who was purportedly the block captain, replied with a "say less," along with a heart emoji. "You are aware of my location." Fans didn't require verification. They took it and ran. Timelines were overrun with memes. Sneaky connection equals studio. She was writing excuses while Papoose was writing bars. The voice note followed. A grainy but sufficiently audible audio recording showing Remy laughing with a man who is most clearly not Papoose, lasting 27 seconds. "He won't ever know," she says. "He's too preoccupied with becoming the family man." If it was genuine or even a well-made fake was irrelevant. Reality evolved from perception. Twitter made it a trending topic in a matter of hours.
Diez Rémies physique.
Papoose held her down in jail, but she's holding someone else down outside, jokingly said one person. Yes, it's savage, but that's the internet. Additionally, when supporters laughed, allegedly, Papoose was collecting receipts. Pap has bank statements, according to a leaked text exchange from one of his close pals. She used that freedom to amuse someone else while he paid for flights, studio costs, and even clothes. It was no longer a story about love. It was about financial exploitation on top of treachery. Papoose was suddenly more than simply the distraught spouse. It was he who was played in the middle of the day. The list of unnamed sources continued. Pap pulled up to my spot heated, talking about how he's done being, one DJ said on a podcast. Ashamed, claimed to have locations, screenshots, and even eyewitnesses. He's exposing, not just walking away. Papoose allegedly found hidden credit card payments connected to hotel stays and two-person dinners, according to another purported industry insider. Whether accurate or the picture being portrayed was harsh and exaggerated, a double life is funded by the faithful husband. The fans' speculations were unabated. Threads on Reddit became viral. Didn't he cover up her previous infidelity? One person made a post. Someone else wrote, he ought to have been aware. If she was able to kill a friend in 2007, she can kill his heart as well. Dark humor, but that's the internet once more. The story was transformed into mini documentaries by YouTube commentators. Dramatic skits with Papoose sobbing and Remy slinking out the back were performed by TikTokers. It became a source of satisfaction for a whole generation. Here's the worst part though. Remy was not keeping quiet. Unfortunately, it was said that she was clapping back behind closed doors. Leaked from one acquaintance to another. DMs implied that she was accusing Papoose of being insecure and fixated on controlling the story. One purported communication said, "When he married me, He knew who I was. If someone wants my attention, I can't help it. Translation. Fans were quick to notice there was no accountability, and gaslighting was at its worst. Comment sections became hostile. She lied and denied instead of writing or dying. Instead of a headline, Pap deserved a queen. The court documents, meantime, continued to stoke the flames. According to court insiders, irreconcilable disagreements were not the only thing mentioned in the divorce documents. It suggested emotional discomfort and a pattern of dishonesty. Elegant legalese, but the streets saw it as cheating. He's finished, and he wants everyone to be aware of it. And he did precisely that. Papoose, who is typically quiet and modest, began posting subliminal messages on Instagram. The caption for one of the photos said, "Sometimes the people you hold down are the ones holding you back." Yet another, "Loyalty has an expiration date when respect runs out." The fans went crazy. Every blog has screenshots of his entries. All of a sudden, the man who had made his name on loyalty and silence was becoming the newest celebrity in hip-hop. The public's responses were divided. Some took Papoose's side entirely. They tweeted about Time King and congratulated him for leaving at last. "You've squandered enough years." Surprisingly, others attempted protecting Remy. One comment went viral. "What if she cheated? Everyday men cheat. She's at least being true to herself." But the deluge of internet debates, think pieces and memes drowned out those voices. Next came the shocking event that no one anticipated. The friend recording that was leaked. Papoose allegedly had a close friend secretly videotape him venting. He is purportedly heard stating, "I wasted my best years." On the video, "She gave me my pen, my money, and my allegiance." Shame. Her true identity will be revealed to the world. The timing was ideal, whether it was contrived or real. It made headlines the same week that fresh images of Remy and Easy at a charity function appeared online. They were much too at ease for two people who claimed to be co-workers. The scandal had evolved beyond infidelity by this time. A story of betrayal, disrespect, and public humiliation had developed out of it. New evidence surfaced each time Remy refused. Fans always assumed that Papoose was loading additional receipts when he remained silent. The cycle was infinite, and the drama was too good to miss on the internet. But let's take a moment to think. What is the true meaning of all this? Because when you take away the clumsy tweets and memes, you're left with a man who waited years for his wife's release, who stood by her side, and who actually married her over the phone in a jailhouse. By her side both privately and publicly, and she was still played. Such betrayal is not limited to the individual. The terms are hip-hop in history, and the more obscene the details became, the more it appeared that Papoose wasn't simply walking away. He was getting ready to set the whole home on fire. Down as he left. The reason he left Remy Ma was no longer the main plot point. How much more will he reveal? Became the new question. Because there would be nuclear fallout, legal disputes, public outbursts, and financial wars if these leaks were only the beginning. The most repulsive aspect of the affair, if insiders were speaking the truth, was yet to come. Point of smooth continuity. The fallout starts at this point. Legal threats, alimony demands, financial struggles, and a public feud that could ruin what's left of their reputations. Is the public meltdown, the financial struggle, the legal mayhem, and the repercussions the kind that even the Kardashians appear subdued? Because Remy Ma didn't just sit back and do nothing when divorce papers were presented. Ladies and gentlemen, no. She arrived with the one weapon that hip-hop had not anticipated. An alimony case. Yes, you heard correctly. After being restrained by Papoose for years, Remy Ma turned around and demanded that he pay her after she had been paying her expenses, advancing her career, and essentially ghostwriting her comeback. The blogs couldn't resist the delicious irony. The headlines shouted, "The man who paid for Remy Ma's liberation is owed alimony." Fans were stunned. Was this the most poisonous or genuine love? Business collaboration in the history of rap? Details were leaked by court insiders like mixtapes being sold in Times Square. Remy's legal team claimed in one alleged filing that Papoose owed her spousal support for the lifestyle she was used to since she profited financially from her notoriety. Way of life? Do you mean the one he constructed? When she was incarcerated with his own grind, online users dragged, ridiculed, and laughed. It was neatly summed up in one tweet that went viral. He was faithful to her. He received alimony from her. Furthermore, Papoose wasn't accepting it. According to unnamed people close to him, he was prepared to count, equipped with years' worth of receipts that demonstrate the amount of his own funds and labor that went into building her brand. One insider apparently told TMZ, presumably stating if she wants money, she should pay him back for every studio session, every promo, every line he wrote in her notebook. Barbaric. Imagine approaching the man who practically saved your career to request spousal support. The public's response became violent. Sarcasm poured into comment sections from fans. "Imagine being married over a prison phone and still asking for alimony," a reader said. Another individual stated, "Pap's loyalty contract expired, but now she wants a refund." Overnight, Memes of Remy waving $signs and Papoose holding a loyalty sign were widely popular. Not even other rappers were able to resist. An unknown rapper posted a sample of a diss track online that said, "Pap wrote bars. She wrote checks. Who do you think is still in debt?" But money wasn't the end of it. Threats from the law started to circulate. Rumor had it that if Papoose didn't make a discreet settlement, Remy's camp would divulge private details about him. Blackmail plan? Of course. An alleged text message from her was disclosed by one insider. "We will give him war if that is what he desires. We also have knowledge." Now for the conspiracy ideas. What were they aware of? Ancient filth from his history? Secret relationships? Or was it only a face-saving bluff? Papoose, meanwhile, intensified his subliminals on social media. "Walking away can sometimes be the loudest truth you can tell," said another enigmatic tweet. Supporters understood exactly what he meant. In a since-deleted article, he then posted a black screen with the caption, "Everything comes out in the end." The internet was ablaze with screenshots. Abruptly, the story changed once more. Was Papoose seated on nuclear-level secrets that might permanently ruin Remy's reputation? As the legal battle continued, a wave of public humiliation followed. Outside, reporters set a camp. Fans viewed the live-streamed updates from bloggers as the Super Bowl of scandals. Anarchy ensued with each new information. According to alleged bank records, Remy was asking for thousands of dollars in spousal support each month, claiming that the divorce had caused him severe pain, suffering on an emotional level. The same divorce triggered by her alleged adultery. The hypocrisy was too thick for the internet to overlook. And right when you believed it, rumors circulated that Remy was planning a reveal-all interview because things couldn't get messy. Yes, it was reported that the same woman who was accused of sneaky links and double lives was getting ready to speak with a prominent media outlet to give her side of the story. According to anonymous leaks, she would rewrite the story to make herself the victim by portraying Papoose as domineering and compulsive. She's trying to play the sympathy card, but fans aren't purchasing tickets, one blog post stated. Here's the issue though. Papoose allegedly prepared paperwork as Remy planned interviews. It was reported that he possessed audio recordings, text conversations, and bank statements that may reveal just the extent of the betrayal. Career-ending receipts, one insider said. The suspense grew like a Netflix cliffhanger. Whether it was real or merely hype, the public was divided. Some admirers tweeted, "Don't do it, Pap. Protect," pleading with Papoose to remain silent. "Your tranquility." Others encouraged him, saying, "King, drop the files. The truth is something we deserve." And despite the argument on the internet, one thing remained certain. Officially, the once loyal pair had turned into the model for treachery. Then arrived the moment when everyone froze. An enigmatic video purportedly showing Remy and someone bickering on the phone went viral online. "He thinks he's the victim, but he's not innocent either," she remarked in a strong, unfiltered voice. "I'm bringing him with me if I go down." The fans didn't care that the audio was brief, unreliable, and unconfirmed. For days, hashtags like #loyalty and #Remy vs. Path have been dead trending. The plot is at a perilous juncture at that point. Will the nuclear receipts be unloaded by Papoose? Will Remy use her own tell-all to change the course of events? Or will this issue spiral into a never-ending cycle of lawsuits, lyrical jobs, and leaks? There's no denying that the world is watching. The masks are off, and the fairy tale is dead. Because this is about hip-hop's fixation with devotion, treachery, and public spectacle, it's not just about a marriage. Furthermore, the next chapter of this drama may be the one that ultimately destroys them both if the most repulsive truths are still concealed. Remember that there are always more sinister truths lurking beneath the surface, even when you believe the story is finished. Who has the courage to reveal them first, though? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the conclusion of what was once referred to as hip-hop's greatest love story, which has now been reduced to a warning about treachery, receipts, and the mayhem of the courtroom. Papoose, the man who married his wife over the phone while incarcerated, waited 6 years and supported her profession, is now facing divorce papers and alimony claims. As well as Remy Ma, once praised for her return, the same woman is now accused of deceitful connections, playing two lives, and using loyalty as a flimsy prop. Here's the question that won't go away though. Here, who is the true antagonist? Is the treacherous spouse Papoose finally revealing the unpleasant reality? Or is he simply another resentful man trying to make things better? What about Remy? Was she truly disloyal? Or is this story simply the ideal combination of retaliation, receipts, and rumors? There is still a lot of fallout. There may be more leaks tomorrow. More close pals may suddenly recall the reported tell-all interview and the screenshots they have. This tale could blow up into something much bigger than the betrayal itself if Remy Ma does speak. So I'll let you do it. What do you think? Did the hero Papoose finally had enough? Or was the foundation of this power couple always lies just waiting to fall? Because this issue is more than simply entertainment, please share your comments here. Hip-hop and loyalty are the subjects of a public autopsy. And believe me, that the following chapter may make this seem easy. You've come to the perfect site if you want to witness the unvarnished truth, the scandals, the leaks, and the drama that the business doesn't want you to see. Get the Gossip Spill Vibes subscription. Hit the like button and pay attention because the most repulsive secrets continue to load.